I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be a gentleman, not a doormat. Well, when I was a lot younger, especially like when I was around high school age and then even into, I'd say, probably like my mid to late 20s and still until I started really figuring things out with women, what I realized was when I was a kid and raised by, I just tell you, like the people in my family, they weren't huggers. They didn't show affection. They didn't say I love you. Those things didn't happen. It's like if you're a kid growing up in our family, whether it was me or my brother or my cousins, our parents or even our family members were usually just very cold. And if you did something wrong, you got yelled at. And other than that, they were usually cold. And so normal parents hug their kids and say, I love you. They pick them up. They're affectionate. They hold hands. They do all those things. It wasn't like that in my family. That's how we were raised. And so when I got into my adolescence and I was around women girls I should say at the time that I liked or I had crushes on or whatever, I'd start talking to them. And when I was younger, it was always, I just think of you as a friend kind of thing. And what I didn't know at the time was that what I used to do is I acted like a butler and a pleaser and a doormat. And what I learned in later years was that beautiful women obviously get hit on all the time. And so they have to get really good at rejecting guys quickly. Why? Because otherwise they're going to end up sitting there talking for 15, 20 minutes to some guy who just doesn't even realize he has absolutely no chance with her. And she doesn't want to sit there and carry on a conversation with a guy that she doesn't have a chance with. Why? Because she's looking to meet Mr. Right, and she ain't going to meet Mr. Right if she's sitting there talking to a guy that ain't got a chance. And things happen so quick. And it's like a woman will look at you and see you out of the corner of her eye and think, oh, wow, he's cute. He's got he's good shape, good body. And then and then he'll look at her and she'll look into his eyes and she'll think, wow, he's really handsome. And as soon as she's thinking that thought, then when his eyes make contact with her eyes, it's almost instantly his eyes get all bright and he starts acting feminine and weak and submissive. And then right away she's like, oh, he's one of those guys. He's one of those super nice guys like I used to be. The type of guy that will come over and start talking to her and basically change his opinion to match hers, those kind of things. And when you look at what's in TV, what's in the movies, I definitely didn't have a good, healthy example to emulate anywhere in any of my family. And so what I see on TV is that you act submissive. When you're around a woman you like, you go along with you change your opinions to match hers. Why? Well, because if you do that, then she's going to think, oh, wow, we have more things in common. That's what the crap that they show us in the movies and the TV. It's just that when you apply those things or you do those things, they don't work in real life. And the movie, and in this 20-something years later, even to this day, I think it's got even worse. This feminization of America that happens, what you see in the TV and the movies, and they present these archetypes of these really weak, effeminate men that are always afraid of their wives or their girlfriends or women that they're interested in, but yet despite that, they still always get the girl. And you try that shit in the real world, it doesn't work. And so the key is that if you like a certain thing and you're talking to a woman that you like, is you got to stand up for yourself. And so like what I teach in my book is I teach guys how to follow the steps that I followed. I didn't know what it was like to have a healthy interaction with a woman because I never had one with my own mother. And so when I'm around women that I liked and I have feelings of attraction for them, it was overwhelming. I was dealing with feelings I wasn't used to feeling before. And since I was so many times growing up, I was made to feel ashamed or feel bad about certain things that I wanted. It's just I didn't know how to act. And so I looked around the world for ways to show up. It's easy just to say, be yourself. But what happens if you feel so incredibly insecure about yourself to the point where you're shaking inside? It's hard to do the right thing. And so I learned from successful men over the years, like when I was younger, learning this stuff, interviewing guys, reading every book I could find in this subject, and I was applying this stuff on a daily basis. I was just relentless like that. I've been with like that with anything that I was trying to learn in life. I learn it and I apply it relentlessly, and every time you apply something, you learn, you get feedback, you change your approach, and then you try it on somebody else, you try it the next time. And through a process of trial and error over many years, of course, about 4 to 5 years, it took me to really get this stuff down. I was able to use techniques and strategies of how confident guys looked, how they acted, what they said, what their body language was, all of those mannerisms. And I personally, because I was so insecure, most guys are not as fucked up as I was, but, because I was about as bad as they can get, a guy can apply the techniques and the strategies and slowly, some guys that are really super confident will read my stuff and it's like all light bulbs will go off and they'll know exactly what they need to do, and they'll just go out and apply it, and within days or weeks they're getting the same kind of results that you read about in my book. And then there's other guys that are about as, they're probably as bad off as I was, that they got to use the techniques to where, the low risk strategies where you can talk to a woman and find out if she's interested in you before you even risk asking her out for a date. And you don't even ask her out for a date unless she's given you several signals that she has romantic interest in you. And so it allows the guys to read my stuff, and basically, based upon their level of confidence, they can either use low risk techniques or strategies, or they can go right to looking a woman in the eyes and saying, I want you, and then knowing exactly what to say next, so 3-4 hours later, they're sleeping together. And so it's totally up to you how far or how quickly you want to take it. Guys, you move along at your own pace, which is amazing about this stuff. And so again, you want to be a gentleman with women, you want to be chivalrous, you want to open the car door, those kind of things, pick her up at her house, obviously, if you're dating her, those kinds of things. You don't want to be a dick, but you also don't want to be weak and be a doormat where you're changing your opinions to match hers and those kind of things, because that communicates weakness. That communicates that you're not sure of yourself and you feel awkward in your own skin. And if you feel awkward in your own skin, well, you're going to make her feel awkward. And women want to feel safe and comfortable. So if you find this message of value, you can show your appreciation by going down to the Wibbia toolbar, which is at the bottom of your screen if you're watching this video on my website. Click the PayPal donate button and donate any amount that you feel is equal to the value of the information you received in this video. At the very least, please share this page with all your friends and family by clicking any one of the social network sharing buttons, which are also located on the Wibbia toolbar at the bottom of your screen. And if you have a question that you'd like to ask me or a topic that you want me to cover in a future video newsletter, then click the Contact Me tab on the left-hand side of your screen and send me 3 or 4 paragraphs detailing your situation, what you're doing, what the other person is doing and saying, and give me several days to get back to you with a detailed response. And if you'd like to book a paid phone coaching session with me personally so I can help you with a specific situation, click the Products tab at the top of your screen and just follow the instructions for booking a paid phone coaching session with yours truly. And I will talk to you soon.